rather the living.
Hi, I'm Reverend Dave Christensen, Director and Lead Investigator for Phantasm Paranormal. I talked to you about an investigation we did quite a few years ago. We were contacted by a woman named Corey. She lived in a small house on the outskirts of North Bend, Nebraska. She told us her children were afraid to sleep in their rooms at night. They told her they were seeing a man in their rooms, and they were hearing voices as well, but nobody was there. She also told us she was hearing strange sounds, voices, and seeing shadows out of the corner of her eyes during the day, but when she would look, nobody would be there. We scheduled a meeting with her at her mom's house just a few blocks away. During our interview with her, we learned more strange occurrences that not only she witnessed, but other family members witnessed as well. One of the witnesses was a past client of ours, her mom. We investigated her mom's house just a year before. Once we started our investigation of her house on April 13th, 2013, we discovered the name of one of the spirits in the house from one of our EVP recordings. The young man's name was Josh. We played the EVP we got to Corey, and when she heard the young man's voice, her face turned white. She began to cry. "That's my brother," she said. Apparently, Josh was killed in a car accident in Fremont, Nebraska, years ago. I found out from my boys, David and Richard, that they went to school with Josh. And Josh was on the football team with them, and they said he was a great guy, real good friend, an excellent football player. And they told me what happened to him. They said they went to a party in Fremont, and there was drinking going on at the party. Josh stopped in, had a few drinks, and had a few shots. Well, he left a couple hours later, and he was pretty tipsy when he left. And he started going down Ridgeland Road. And they said he was going at a high rate of speed. Well, come to find out, his gas pedal stuck. He went through the intersection and crossed an open field and hit a tree. The speaker in his back window flew forward and struck him at the back of the head and killed him instantly. Those two buildings weren't there at the time of the accident. It was just an open field. We made several trips out to the house, and if I remember right, it was like the third trip out to the house. I would always turn the recorder on while I was setting up. And I was talking to everybody in the room, and all of a sudden, I heard the voice of a child, and I quit talking. I didn't catch the first part of what the child was saying, but I did catch him saying Mountain was his name. And when I heard that, I looked around the room, and there were no children in the house whatsoever. This was a voice of a little boy, and I'll play the EVP recording for you a couple times.
Click on that little...
Somebody's floating above his head.
Click on that little...
Somebody's floating above his head.
Yeah, you can hear him. He says somebody, Mountain was his name. And it floored us. It really drew us back quite a bit. But later on, the same night, I was talking to Josh, directing my questions at him. And I asked Josh what the name of the bad spirit was in the house. Josh replied to me. He kept saying Ralph, and at the end of the recording, you can hear him say Graham. I'll play that for you a couple times now. If we know who it is that is here tormenting you, Josh, or anybody else in this house, we can deal with it. But I need to know his name. If we know who it is that is here tormenting you, Josh, or anybody else in this house, we can deal with it. But I need to know his name. There was one spirit in the house. I was directing my statements at him, the bad spirit. And I was more or less laying down the law for him that night. And I told him, I will work with you, but if you don't work with me, I will work against you. And the spirit said, so? I thought, okay, we'll see what happens next, buddy. But I'll play that recording for you now. I will work with you, but if you don't work with me, then I will work against you. I will work with you, but if you don't work with me, then I will work against you. Well, there wasn't much we could do about him. We wanted to get rid of Ralph Graham, the evil spirit in the house. But I told his sister that if we get rid of Ralph, there's a chance that Josh might have to go as well. And she had to think about it, what she wanted to do. Either keep living the way they are, or run the risk of getting rid of Josh as well. And Corey, she decided that they were just going to deal with what was going on because she didn't want to get rid of her brother. Really loved her brother and she missed him very well. And we did some research and we found some information about Ralph Graham, talking to an elderly neighbor. And she said that Ralph was the original owner of the house. He was really an obnoxious jerk. He was rude, and he didn't like people at all. He did not like children. He did not like children at all, and he didn't like animals either. So that would explain everything that was going on with Corey's pets and her children. And we did some more digging, and we found out where this SOB was buried. Ralph Graham is buried in Woodland Cemetery, just outside of North Bend, Nebraska. We went out there and we found his grave. And from what it looks like not very many people like this guy. The people that we talked to in town definitely did not like him. And when he passed away, they were all pretty happy about it because they didn't like him. They didn't like him at all. But anyway, we were unable to get rid of Ralph Graham because Corey didn't want to risk losing her brother. And we got quite a few good pictures out of the house, and I'll show you some of the pictures right now. This is the back of the house. When you look upstairs on the right side window, you'll see something standing there in the window. At first, I thought it was a reflection of something, but I took another picture, and when I did, there was nothing there. See it up there? It looks like a child standing there in the window looking out. This was taken in the kitchen. We were in the living room when we heard a sound in the kitchen, and we went in there and I took this picture. Got an orb up in the corner of the frame. The picture inside the living room. An orb right there. I got one EVP I'll have to tell you about in a minute. Again, this is a kitchen. There's an orb right there on the door, or in front of the door, I should say. That's moi. That's me. There's an orb right there in the living room. This is upstairs in the bedrooms. You can see the one orb there. This is again downstairs. You can see our equipment all scattered all over the floor there. We're starting to get a heck of a gathering in the house. Those are all orbs. Those are the pictures that I can show you. There's a lot more that I can't show you because of I was requested not to show them to you. But while we were going through the house, we went downstairs and we heard a shower running. And as we approached the bathroom and started opening the door, the shower went off. And when we got in there, we looked in the shower and it was all wet on the inside. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, I gotta get out of here.